Okay, back with you on the Bronx Buzz. I was just commenting with our guests about how sometimes the segments link up together, and just coincidentally, they do. Tasha Douge is with us. Nice to see you, Tasha.
Hi, everybody.
Okay, now I'm going to read the description right out of the bio that she sent us because it just describes what I couldn't explain it better myself. She's a Bronx bred and based, Haitian infused, conceptual, visual, and performance artist, activist, and cultural vigilante. Oh goodness, I love that. Just tell me about what what does that all mean? What is your perception about when you make artwork and when you create stuff? What are you thinking about that gets you to that description?
Oh, wow. Okay. So, again, hi, everybody. My name is Tasha Douge. Some of the stuff is self-explanatory, right? So, I actually was born in Queens, but I've been raised and went to school in the Bronx since I was 3 years old. And so, I am a Bronx girl all the way through. And my parents migrated here from Haiti, so I have to make sure that gets claimed as many times as possible. Because that wasn't, even though that's my experience, it wasn't necessarily pronounced. And it wasn't until I was on a panel discussion with Haitian and Dominican artists that that was brought to my attention. And so once that happened, I was like, I got to make sure somewhere, someplace that is noted as I continue to delve into this art practice. As far as cultural vigilante, I'm Black and I'm proud. um, and I'm a Batman girl, so I love Batman. And I
But
found
wait, Batman as like Batman and Robin
Batman as
in
in the
Gotham
comics,
City. Oh, the
Gotham
comic books.
City.
Okay,
Yes,
okay,
which I found out, you know, is speaking to the Bronx. Gotham was inspired by the Bronx, and I was like, this,
really? Wait a
yeah.
minute. I never heard that. How do you know that? That's
I-
incredible.
someone told me about it, and
I
if
got to
you
look that
Google
up.
it, you'll find it.
Wow,
So I mean, the Bronx inspires a
wow.
lot of things, hip hop, all this. I was like, this makes sense.
Wait. You're saying stuff that I hadn't anticipated. First of all, I was reading Batman comics when they were a dime. So that's
Oh,
so I would go. So don't start me with Batman because I would go down to the candy store, which of course we don't have them anymore,
I
down my
know.
block, and and then they went up to 12 cents, and that was a big thing because in addition to the dime my mother gave me, she had to now give me 2 pennies. So I know it makes me sound old, but that's the
No,
reality.
no, no. Listen, as someone who was watching the comic from on Saturday morning cartoons,
Wow.
I was just as shocked as you were, right? Because the Bronx is the underdog always. But yeah,
And we invented, and you said something else there. We're best friends already. You said something else that made an impression on me. We invented everything. They can all talk about their whole lives and everything going on. The music, the culture, it all comes from the BX. There we go. Anyway, listen. Why artwork? I mean, how did you get going? How did all of that that's that's rumbling in your head turn into I want to be creative and use art to tell a story?
It wasn't in the beginning. Like experience for most folks that are in my peer group and most of my friends, like art was not encouraged. That was a hobby, things of that nature. But it wasn't until I was working for a nonprofit in Harlem, just realizing that the bureaucracy, the red tape was just too much. And I was just like, what can speak to like behavioral change? Like, what is so avant garde
Ah, yeah.
that it
And
could
what
do
can
the
you do
thing?
to cross those barriers and go through?
Boundaries.
And this is my own advocacy. As I said, we're already best friends. My own advocacy about the importance of art and music in schools. We've got to have it because all those other things, listen, math and social studies and all these other things are important, but how do you really communicate with kids?
And art gets to the soul.
Oh my
You know what I
goodness.
mean? Art literally gets to the soul. So, having an experience of going to a vagina festival is what really inspired me to create my own exhibition. And at the time, I was just trying to, 'cause again, I was working for a nonprofit, which we did a multitude of things. But that was the sexual education and STD
Wow.
testing was the
I
crux of
had
that.
I hadn't anticipated that you were going to say that on the air, but
Oh,
it's a vagina festival. I'm not going there, and I'm not going to ask where it came from or whatever.
it was just
Okay.
again to speak to the power of art, right? So
Okay.
this
So
experience stayed with
I
me.
want to just show this. Now you sent us a few photos of this American flag thing. Let's Anderson, just put up any one of them so that I no. So what is this?
So this piece is called "This Land Is Our Land," but she was nicknamed Justice, and so the irony is that the previous administration, who's currently running again this year, was talking about "Make America Great Again," "Make America Great," and I was like, for whom? And so I was immediately thinking about the Black contribution to this country, and so I was like, how can I speak to that in a very
So
prolific?
so this American flag, what is it made of? And and the pictures are
She,
black and white. Just tell us a little.
um,
And by the way, this was at the Longwood Art Gallery. Is it still there?
oh no, the exhibition has long
Has
closed.
closed. Okay,
Yeah.
go ahead, but keep going.
So the work initially was created using synthetic hair, chicken wire, and repurposed cotton balls. So I do
Wow.
repurpose my materials sometimes. So yeah, that was the and thread because each
And
braid,
you wove them all together. It's a
yes.
weave thing. Wow,
So I
good for
braided
you.
all of the hair and then sewed it to the chicken wire.
Wow. And I think there are a couple more photos. And so like a photograph like this, which obviously you deliberately took so people can see it also not only in black and white, but in color. What's the thinking behind it? Or you just felt like I will do whatever I feel like with my artwork? Just interpret it in your eyes for us, if you would.
So again, it goes back to being a cultural vigilante, just really ensuring that Blackness is not continued to be erased in the global conversation, not just in a national context. So in that previous image where I'm laying down with Justice on the floor, that land that the both of us are situated on is at Weeksville's Heritage Center, which is a historic site of a free Black town located in Brooklyn. So really trying to be intentional on where she has um, visited, what is she bringing to the foreground as far as conversation, and what histories are being illuminated in her by her presence.
And it's absolutely fascinating to me, and it defines to me what real artwork is. So you gave, and forgive me for using the flag, a name, and you refer to the flag as a woman.
She,
You
her.
call her she and
Mhm,
her,
mhm.
and you call the flag has a name, and the flag's name is Justice.
Justice.
Do
Yes.
you,
Go ahead.
no, do you have it there with you?
So no, I'm actually at my parents' house right now.
Oh, okay.
So no, I
That's
don't
fair.
have her with me. But the iterations of her that you showed previously no longer exists. So hence why she was in the show Black Sheddings. So
Which was the
unfortunately,
one at the Longwood Art Gallery.
the woman, the Longwood Gallery, right? So that photo speaks to her remains, and the video was actually a shortened snippet of me actually deconstructing that work.
And why did you do that? Was that an artistic thing, or just I can't have her around anymore?
No, no, no,
It's too
never. No, no,
disturbing. I
no.
can't.
So the for me that work, she was done. You know, she spoke to what she needed to speak to, and the beautiful thing about art, and for some of us artists who um, acknowledge an ancestral and spiritual component to our practice. Yeah, she had other plans, and what ended up happening is I had traveled, and when I returned, I had left my window open very slightly, unaware at how squirrels can get into anything.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, and so what ended up happening is she got compromised, and
My goodness.
yeah.
Were you heartbroken? I guess
Oh no,
you
I
felt like in a
no,
way
I
it
felt
was like some energy that said, "Well, now time is up," kind of thing.
not time is up. It was more so about rebirth, and that came to me actually in the midst of my whales. I literally broke down, fell to the ground. And I'm like, I don't know how people have children, because the way I felt, it was guttural.
Yeah.
And even in that moment, what was clear is that as my practice evolves, I've been more conscientious around like carbon footprints, the role of nature and the environment in the things that I do and just in my daily life. And so it was like, if I'm talking about this land is our land, at the time when I created her, I wasn't thinking about nature as its own entity, right? I was
Okay.
thinking about the enslavers and those who were enslaved.
Right.
We can't own land, right? We're in relationship to land.
Right. So,
And
I don't want to run out of time. So you had mentioned that this was about a rebirth.
rebirth. Yeah.
So now I'm going to make the assumption that the rebirth is you are ready to create her child or the next step or something of that nature.
So I did. So
Oh, you did?
and that was a photograph that I had sent as well, where you see the remains and then you see her. There you go, right? So in this image, you'll see that she is reemerged in a different iteration, but the materials were different. So I used organic braiding here made out of banana fiber within that work, and I've added some varying colors to speak to Black people of Native descent. And I left the cotton balls where I use regular cotton balls. I actually use cotton with seeds still imbued inside.
Wow.
To speak
Talk about it. Yeah, you listen. We're going to run out of time, and I don't want to do that. But the minute you said it was the actual cotton balls with seeds, we know exactly what your ancestors in particular went through. It is incredibly inspiring for your passion for the artwork, for this project. And for your understanding of the value of the art. Really, you have made quite an impression on me, and I'm sure on many of our viewers. So got about 15, 20 seconds. What's next? You got something next that we're going to know about?
I'm currently in an exhibition at the Caribbean Cultural Center African Diaspora Institute in East Harlem.
Okay.
That is with 10 other Haitian artists. So
Wonderful.
They can find my work there as well.
Listen, you're a superstar, and we want you back here. We want to see everything that you're working on, because this speaks to the BX. This is our home. And
all day.
Yep, me too. This is my neighborhood. So there you go. Anyway, Tasha Douge, thank you so much. It's a thrill to meet you, and we want to know about every single thing that you continue to work on.
Thank you.
And what you're passionate about. That it's the subject matter that grabs me. Thank you so much.
Many things.
Great. Stay on the line, by the way. I got something interesting for you after I got to close the show now. There we go. Anyway, so that will do it for the Bronx Buzz. What an interesting, fascinating show, cutting edge, really, this evening. And so we thank Tasha and we thank Anastasia, who joined us in the first segment. And if the curtain don't fall and the creek don't rise, we will be back next week. Good.